It's me every weekend.
Me too.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Monday, September 14th Lebanon Redevelopment Commission meeting. We will begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, and this evening, Dr. Milliman will not be joining us. He's got a prior engagement, but all else are in attendance. First thing we have up on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Commission, did you all receive a copy of the minutes?
Yes.
I would entertain a motion on those.
I'll make a motion, we approve minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Under old business on the agenda, I see no old business, so we'll move on to the new business. Item A we have on the list here is the 125 South Meridian Street Demolition Bid Award. I believe we have Derek here to...
Good evening, Commissioners. Yes, I am Derek. I saw a good tweet by Steve Martin over the weekend where he solved some of the problem of wearing masks by putting a sign above his head that said, "I'm Steve Martin." So I got a kick out of that. So anyway, I didn't wear a hat, so you can kind of recognize who I am. Okay, so tonight I'm here to present to you the information that was collected for the bid package that we advertised for the demolition of 125 South Meridian Street, formerly known as the Montgomery Ward Building. As you all know, the Redevelopment Commission bought that building and entered into an agreement with Kramer Companies to manage the public bid for demolition of the building. The bid was advertised separately on two different occasions in the Indianapolis Star and the Lebanon Reporter. And those bids were opened in a public setting after the deadline, directly after the deadline that we had made for those bids to be turned in to us, which was September 1st at 2 p.m. And for the record tonight, I am going to read the base bid, alternate number 1 and alternate number 2 as they were opened in that meeting so that they can be read into the record tonight here at the RDC. The first bid was Renaissance Incorporated. Base bid was $284,000. Alternate number 1, which was the liquidated damages. And I think I believe I included all of this in your packet information that you have tonight. So just to explain to you what liquidated damages were, that was the amount, the penalty amount if they went over the substantial completion date. The base for that was set at $1,500 a day, and if they wanted to suggest something else, they had the opportunity to do that. So this particular bidder wanted to have no penalty if they went past the date of substantial completion. Alternate number 2 submitted by Renaissance Incorporated was $22,000, and alternate number 2 is the removal and replacement of the walk that is adjacent to State Road 32 if it is damaged during the demolition. Second bidder was Ace Paving LLC. Base bid of $157,520. Liquidated damages they accepted at $1,500. Alternate number 2 for removal and replace South Walk is $5,660. Bun Incorporated. Base bid is $250,220. 0 on alternate number 1 and $18,780 in alternate number 2. O'Rourke Wrecking Company, base bid of $213,000, 0 in alternate number 1, and $36,000 in alternate number 2. Advantage Industrial, base bid for demolition, $248,000, accepted the $1,500 in alternate number 1 for liquidated damages, and $10,000 for the removal and replacement of the south sidewalk, alternate number 2. H&D Removal, base bid of $196,800, 0 in alternate number 1, and $18,375 in alternate number 2. Denny Companies, base bid of $184,500. Liquidated damages, alternate number 1 of $1,500, and alternate number 2, removal and replacement of south sidewalk, $20,000. Door and Associates, base bid of $198,600. Alternate number 1, which I believe is a typo, but this is what they put, $15,000 a day in liquidated damages, so they decided to increase that number. And alternate number 2 for replacement and removal of sidewalk is $22,200. So what we did after the bids were open were to analyze them to determine whether they're responsive and responsible bids. So what we did was we looked at the first 2, which was Ace Paving LLC and Denny Companies. And I will say that everyone was at the bid opening other than Denny Companies. They had some other commitments and weren't unable to stay. So when we started looking at what I feel like the 3 important points in the Form 96 were to analyze was the experience, the bid bond, and the financial statement. So low bidder, Ace Paving LLC, their work experience they have listed for public works projects within a 1-year period prior to the bid that we accepted was asphalt work for IPS, asphalt work for Westfield Schools, tennis courts for Mount Vernon High School, and tennis courts for Mill Creek Community Schools. The financial statement of income was from a period between January 1st, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. So that is got some age on it. And in the bid package, we did not make it mandatory, but we did ask, we recommended the AIA form for the bid bond. And Ace Paving submitted something that was a little cloudy to determine whether or not it was an actual bid bond or not. So there was some question there. Bidder number 2, Denny Companies. Their work experience in the 1 year prior to the date of current bid was demolition work for the town of Zionsville, demolition work for city of Bloomington, and emergency demolition work for the city of Indianapolis, with 1 current public work project in process, a demolition job for the Tippecanoe County Commissioners. Their financial statement was dated May 31st, 2020, and they did submit the AIA form for the bid bond. So with that, we did decide to, because of the inconsistencies in the low bid, suggest to the RDC tonight that the bid be awarded to low bid number 2, Denny Companies, for $184,000, plus the sidewalk alternate number 2, and resurfacing and restriping of 115 South Meridian Street. And just to give you a little back story there, 115 South Meridian Street is the parking lot to the north of the Montgomery Ward building that's being demolished. And when we started looking at how to make this a more efficient job, it became apparent that we needed access into that parking lot for staging, equipment, so forth and so on. So Tribbett and Rich did, in principle, agree to grant us access to that parking lot during demolition in exchange for parking passes for those lease spots while demolition is happening. So that is in lieu of resurfacing the parking lot because of damage that is likely to occur during the demolition process. So that is why you see that number in there as well. plus contingencies. So the recommendation tonight would be for a budget allowing of $260,688 for the completion of the job. And so that was the information that was analyzed. I'm happy to answer any questions. Kevin Krulik is here tonight as well, city engineer. He can answer any questions that are bid specific, demolition experience specific, anything else that you might have questions on. So, you know, we are working on different ideas for redevelopment as well. I know once we get this thing demolished, we've talked about putting out requests for proposals for redevelopment or turning it into a parking lot. You know, there's a moving target on possibly acquiring the 115 South Meridian Street parking lot to the north. We have commissioned appraisals for that parking lot, so we know what we're dealing with there. But so there's a lot to talk about even after we demolish this building. But tonight, that is the facts that we have to present to you tonight.
Thank you very much, Derek. Commission, any questions for Derek?
How long is it going to take to do the demolition and clean it up?
Yeah, Keith, we put in the schedule, once the contractor receives the notice to proceed, which was September 14th, you know, we expected final completion by November 30th. So roughly 2.5 months without any major hiccups, weather or whatever, you know, uncontrolled, unforeseen problems that may arise.
So they're also going to be in charge of the south wall that falls back on 32?
Correct. So there'll be NDOT permits that need to be pulled.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it's a very technical demolition. As you all know, we've talked about it, all four sides on the property line. The wall on the south wall is falling towards State Road 32 currently. Most of the walls are falling towards the adjacent properties. So it is a very difficult demolition.
Perfect. Commission, any other questions, comments? All right, so with that, I believe staff recommendation was Denny Excavating. The grand total on their bid was $260,688.
Their base bid is 184,500 plus the 20,000 for alternate number 2. So 204,500 was their base.
I don't know. Base of 184.5.
Base of 184,500 for the demolition, and alternate number 2, $20,000 for the removal and replacement of the sidewalk.
So that's the request this evening.
Well, the request also includes the resurfacing, worst case scenario resurfacing of the parking lot to the north, and a 10% contingency. So total budget that we have put together for the demolition is $260,688.
That's a not to exceed number?
It is not constructed that way, but I hope the 10% contingency covers anything that we find unexpected.
So I would tend to agree with you, Dr. Taylor. I think it should be a not to exceed, and given the timeline, we would have an additional meeting that hopefully we would have any of that buttoned up. So with that, I would,
We're gonna, we're gonna recommend not to exceed 260 is what we're gonna recommend.
260,688.
That's a
Correct.
56,388 above the original,
Right. Which will allow for a contingency.
which is the 184.5 plus a 20,000 for, yeah.
Yeah, you got that. Okay.
I just didn't know.
Yeah, it's got the 10% contingency in there as well.
I'll make a motion, we approve the demolition contract with Denny Excavating, also to include the alternate number 2, the resurfacing and striping of the parking lot on the north side, and contingency of 10% with a total of $260,688.
Real quick, before we entertain that motion, we do have a comment in the crowd.
Yes.
Come on up to the microphone.
My name is Bob Donahue, and I work with Ace Paving. I'm the project manager, and while we are new in the public works demolition side of our business, we have been in the wrecking business for many years. We don't have any previous history doing public works demolition, but we do have demolition history we can provide the board with, and I would like for the board to consider not paying additional taxpayer dollars because of our lack of experience. We put together a pretty good team. We worked on this very hard to be very competitive in our numbers. And I just think we had a good number. We can do the work, and I don't think we should be disqualified because our bid bond, I do believe our bid bond met the requirements of the State Board of Accounts, which should be sufficient. So that's what I have to say. I would either ask that you reconsider who you make your award to, or you delay making the award to look at this a little closer, because I just don't think this is how public works bidding. In my I did a lot of resurfacing work myself, but I also have a background in public works, and I find this very unusual. I believe our bid was responsive, and we are due the work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Krulik, do you have a comment?
Yeah, just a quick redress. You know, yes, we are sympathetic to the taxpayer money that we're charged with allocating and executing here. And so we take that very seriously when we are recommending something that is above and beyond the lowest bid received. It really does come down to, in our opinion, though, it's an issue of responsibility. The issue with the bond, you know, I think that's something that we all agree we could get past and look forward. They did submit some bonding documentation. It just wasn't in the form that we had asked for, that we had recommended. Again, we could move forward with that. The responsibility issue, in my opinion and staff's opinion, is the lack of public work demolition projects. We've talked about this before. This is a surgical type of demolition. This is the building sitting on all 4 property lines. This is the building sitting adjacent to State Road 32, which in itself requires some specific requirements from the state. And then also then on Meridian Street, obviously, we've had a significant investment into Meridian Street and the street light poles at that intersection. We think it would be responsible of us to determine an award to a contractor that, in our opinion, the most critical thing is that they're responsible in their demonstration that they have existing public work demolition projects under their belt. Again, no offense to ACE, it's just us being responsible also with the dollars and cents, but being responsible with the nature of the contractor that we choose. So that is why our recommendation to go with the second bidder and determine them responsible, and determine the low bidder non-responsible because of the experience requirements.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
I looked over these really good over the weekend, and I concur with Kevin. Ace is a good paving company, I know that. They do good work, but I just did not feel comfortable with what they provided as far as demolition experience. And this building is very critical, and I wanted to see some demolition experience, and I did not see that in their bid. So I concur with Kevin and the staff, and that's why I've made my motion the way I did.
Any other comments from the commission? Real quick, just on a personal opinion, I have to take the expert's advice here. So one thing I would recommend is for ACE to continue to partner with the city of Lebanon. I think this specific building has some unique things about it that just make it a little bit different. So with that being said, we do have a
The court's view of this is you should not be giving bid documents to people who will not enter into a contract. That burden is on the consultants to pre-screen people they don't want to bid with or they give them bid documents.
okay.
That's part of the public bid law too.
Okay, thank you very much, I appreciate it. With that being said, we do have a motion from Mr. Robertson to approve not to exceed $260,688 bid from Denny Excavating. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Next up on the agenda, we have the Heart of Lebanon with a progress report, and I believe we have Missy Krulik here tonight to go over some of the Heart of Lebanon information.
Good evening, Board. My name is Missy Krulik with the Heart of Lebanon, and I'm here to give you your report that you requested when you gave us funding, that we come back to you and just give you a report on what we're doing, where we're at. So I'm here tonight to do that. So the Heart of Lebanon, our mission is to enhance the heart of our community. Okay, so the challenge of 2020. I didn't know this when I was here requesting funding from you, that COVID was going to hit this year and it was going to create some challenges for us. But we feel like we met those challenges and we've done what we can to help the small businesses in our district. So what we did is we assessed our businesses in our district. What do you need? What can we do to help you? And one thing that we found that most of the businesses needed was operational cost. Because they were closed, some of them had to scale down their business. They were having trouble paying their utilities and rent and things like that. And then also with reopening, they were going to have more expenses with their PPE. So they were going to have to buy all this equipment that they didn't have before. So what we did is we did a fundraiser. We raised money through donations from members of the community. They became friends of the Heart of Lebanon. The friends took that donation, or the Heart of Lebanon took that donation from the friends and we matched it. Towards the end of the fundraiser, we matched it 1.5% or 150%. And we were able to award 6 businesses within our district $1,000 each. So that went to help with their utilities, rent, or purchasing that PPE. So that was called Helping Small Businesses in the Heart Emergency Health Crisis Grant. So we were happy that we were able to do that. We also provided resources to our businesses in our district from the local level, the state level, and the national level. Any type of grants that came about, any type of information that we felt could be useful to the small businesses, we passed that information on to them. We just wrapped up our Lebanon Summers Nights events. We had a total of 16 Summer Nights events that included music on the plaza, painting on the plaza, painting in the alley with Bob Ross, Escape the Alley. And then we assisted organizers with 3 courthouse car cruise-ins. So that was pretty successful in bringing members of our community down to the square and or kind of a relaxing environment. And it was nice to see the public come out in a safe manner. So there's some photos of those nights of engaging the community and having them come downtown. Some great events there. We also did some engaging of the businesses and promotion of the downtown. The first one of those was the front porch project. Heather Schrock helped us out. She did this for the community, and I asked her if she'd be willing to do it for the downtown. So we had the business owners and employees come outside their businesses, and we took pictures of them and shared them on Facebook and different social medias, and also allowed them to have some photos that they could use for business promotion. We did the coin scavenger hunt where people came downtown and searched for gold coins that we had hidden throughout the downtown and in the businesses. So that kind of got people in the door. Christmas in July, we had Santa and Mrs. Claus in a boat for Christmas in July. And then we also had our cash cube that we gave away $2,000 in downtown Christmas in July Christmas cash that they could spend at the participating businesses. And they still have until September 18th to spend that money. And then History in the Heart, well, we just had that event September 5th. People could come downtown and take a historical pictorial walking tour of the downtown and just learn about some of the history in our downtown, what the buildings looked like at one time, what they look like now, just throughout the year. So that was a great event, and the public really seemed to enjoy that. Lebanon City Markets. We hosted 14 markets in 2020 so far. So we had some great vendors this year, some great products, and it was just a great event that people could come downtown and buy locally produced items. Another portion of Indiana Main Streets and Main Street organizations in general is to get involved with the design of your downtown. One of those things was our alley activation. This is a project that was inspired by the Community Challenge Grant that AARP had. So unfortunately we did not receive the grant, but we did this alley activation design for that grant and really liked the concept that we came up with, and so decided to go forward with that. We're currently in the Historic Preservation Committee phase, so we're working on that. This is what we've come up with to this point. So it was nice teaming up with Indy Sign Works, who Andy Chapman is a local Lebanon resident from here, and the City of Lebanon, Lebanon basketball documentarian, and the Boone County Basketball Hall of Fame. So it was nice to team up with those people and get their insight on what they might want for this alley. It is just a little preview. It's this is home, and home is basketball. And it's a walking historical tour of basketball in our community. So we're still working on that, but get to see that. And then our upcoming events, we extended our season of the Lebanon City Market. It's going to be the first Saturday of every month up until December. And then we have Oktoberfest coming up. We had to delay it to October 10th. So we are full speed ahead on that, planning on bringing that event to our community. Unless something drastic changes with the numbers, we've worked out a plan to go ahead with it. So we're excited about that. Mischief on Meridian is October 24th. We've got plans in the work to make that a safe community event. Small Business Saturday, November 28th, and then Christmas on the Square, December 5th. So we've had to be creative with our events this year. It's been a challenge, but we felt like it was really important to continue with our events. It's about quality of life, it's about mental health, it's about people getting out in their community and still being safe. So we really tried to not cancel any events. We ended up canceling one in May and one in April when COVID hit. So everything was unknown then, but we were able to go forward with the rest of our events. So on positive note, we did receive a grant taking care of main streets from Okra and Indiana Main Streets. And then I'm happy to say that businesses are moving in downtown. We've had 2 businesses that have already settled in, Reliable Taxi and Shelter Insurance. They're in the Heflin building. We have 1 business that's under construction. They're in the old Fig Tree location. There's something exciting going in there. I was told today by a building owner that a business is signing a lease this week for a major property in our downtown. And then they also reported to me that their vacant storefronts and buildings are showing a lot of interest. So our town is moving, still moving. So that's very exciting, and we're very excited for those businesses to come in and have a place for our community to go when they come downtown. So that is my update for you.
Awesome.
Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Missy. Commission?
First, I'm sure you didn't sign on for this when you stood before us before, but thank you. This is an incredibly important task, and I, for one, am very appreciative that someone of your quality and qualifications is stepping up. I have a question. What would be the number one support you could have to help our small businesses downtown? There's no doubt small businesses are taking a huge hit. So what could you use that you may not have access to at this point to help small businesses, either retention or attraction?
What could we use in the downtown in general?
What can you use in your role to help support the small businesses you represent on behalf of all of us?
More time in the day.
I can talk to the man, but I'm not sure you're going to get any more than 24 hours. Or the woman, whoever you want to talk to.
Well, I just think that it's going really well right now. I think that we're heading down the right track. I think that Indiana Main Street and the Main Street organization in general has really stepped up to the plate. Okra has stepped up to the plate, and they're really backing the Main Street organizations, in whether it be in education, grants, providing information to us. So I think that's been really helpful to the downtown. I think just continuing to support the Heart of Lebanon in what we're trying to do downtown and bringing the community downtown, that's going to ultimately help our small businesses. It's going to bring people to the downtown and the realization that this is their front porch. This is where they can go when they need something, when they just want to relax. So I think that's kind of the culture that we have to get out there, and just supporting the Heart of Lebanon and what we're doing to create that culture is important for our small businesses, and retaining small businesses and bringing new businesses to the forefront. So,
President, may I ask a question of our attorney, please?
Absolutely.
Do we have discretionary, as the RDC Commission, and I've not spoken to my fellow commissioners, discretionary ability to provide additional funds in support of this activity if so were requested?
I think if we need to confirm what's in the budget this year and remaining, but yes, if there is available monies that would be there, then the commission, if it so desired, could.
Thank you, and I apologize, I just didn't have this out there. So I would suggest to you, I would be very in favor and supportive of looking at additional financial support, not extravagant and within our budget, that if you feel might be supportive of your initiatives and efforts to retain small business and attract small business. I think it's critical time, and it's not an ongoing funding stream that I think the RDC can afford, but I think we have to be open to being creative and supporting your efforts and supporting small business in downtown Lebanon. So I put that out there. I could be the Lone Ranger here. I don't think I am. I know these gentlemen on the commission, and I think they would support something of that initiative. But again, I want to thank you, but put that out there that if additional funds might be something that would assist down the road, I would hope that you would feel comfortable coming to this authority and asking for that. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Missy, I too want to thank you for all that you're doing, and I've got, of course, I talked to you the other night up at the car show the other night, and I'm just off the cuff thinking, and you probably already got a plan, but I'm thinking, in the future as we do the car shows and whatever, if we can ever get back to normal again, maybe if you had some food trucks or something downtown, would be a great thing to add to that and make it something everybody's coming downtown to. And you probably already got those thoughts. My other question though is, how many people really help you? How many people are involved in the heart of Lebanon to help assist you?
Well, I have 5 board members that are helpful, but not a lot. And COVID has really hurt the volunteer aspect. People are not as comfortable getting out and volunteering. It's hard to get people out of their houses and come out to an event, especially in the day and age where anything you post on social media is open for criticism. So if we have an event and, and there's a photo of it, that person could be criticized. So I think it's just really, really difficult to get our volunteers on board. And so, we've been doing a lot of it ourselves. And we've been working really hard because it's important. It's important, so.
Well, I appreciate what you've done and wish you well in trying to continue to do things downtown with the way conditions are right now. I think everybody's at a point where they want to get out and do something. And I would take that discussion that Bob just put up as something that we ought to discuss and look at what our finances are and see if there is something that maybe we can do. I will tell you, I did like that alley. I don't know if have you got a grant to do that, or?
We do not. It was written,
I thought
the
that
concept
alley
was
was very
designed
neat.
for a grant, and we didn't get the grant, but we felt like it was a good enough design that we should just go forward with it. So, so that's one thing
I
that,
thought
once
that
we
was-
get it through HPC, then that'll be our next step, is trying to fund it.
Yeah, any of these alleys that we got that are non-passable vehicles, if we could do something in them to make them work, I think is really great. And it's too bad we lost the one little bar restaurant downtown there and couldn't open up the alley there for something for them too as well. So, but anyway, the more things we could do downtown, the better off we are. So.
That alley has been a nice asset this summer for some of our events, so it's nice.
So, okay, I'm good.
Awesome, very cool. Just a couple of quick comments. Number one, on the alley, I think it would be a travesty to continue to move forward if that does not include an actual goal. So you may consider putting that in there.
An actual what?
An actual basketball goal.
Oh.
I looked at the entire thing.
No, I don't know about
Even
that.
throw a backboard up there with a milk crate, go old school Indiana.
Yeah.
But also, just to kind of bring light to a lot of the stuff that's happening, we've got folks that are estimating, 35 to 40% of our small businesses across this country are not going to make it through 2020. And you stand in front of us tonight talking about 3 new openings. So I hope, not only all of us up here, but as well as you and our downtown really understand.
The Basketball Hall of Fame, that's Boone County Basketball Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I truly hope that everyone understands that making an announcement of 3 folks coming into our downtown is a huge thing. Yes, we lose businesses. Yes, they go out every once in a while. They choose to do something different. But you bring very positive news this evening in a pretty rough year. So kudos to you. Kudos to the downtown. I don't think that we thank those business owners enough. They put in their blood, sweat, and tears into their business, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we all know that they put in a lot. So thank you very much for your update. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in the future. It
Yeah.
sounds like
And I do
sooner
want
than later.
I do want to say that a lot of our businesses have stepped up and started being a part of the Heart of Lebanon and really being responsive and really getting involved with our events. So I do appreciate those small businesses in the downtown and they're willing to put their feet in the water with us, and we appreciate that.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you so much, Missy. Commission, I believe that concludes our new business this evening, which moves us on to the most important part of the night, which is paying our bills. I would entertain a motion to pay our claims.
I'll make a motion to pay the claims.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. And Mr. Robertson, your favorite motion of the evening?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We've got a motion. I will second that motion. And all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We will see you guys at the next Lebanon Redevelopment Commission meeting.